Music, mass media, change. It all goes hand in hand. Popular music has changed drastically since the 1950s. From Elvis Presley to Nicki Minaj to Foo Fighters to the Jackson 5, the only question to ask yourself is, how has music drastically changed in the past 60 years?
I remember very little of my parents listening to music. I remember some Elvis Presley. I remember some country artists, Waylon Jennings.
I've always been
Some
praising
Willie
you.
Nelson. I also remember my parents having some albums.
Growing up, my parents listened to a lot of Aerosmith. I remember that being played around the house a lot. I remember Journey, I remember Def Leppard, a lot of classic rock groups. I remember the Beatles, for sure, the Who, the Rolling Stones. I remember a lot of bands like those being played around the house.
Baby, I'm amazed at the way you love me all
My
the
favorite
time.
band or favorite person was Paul
Maybe
McCartney.
I'm afraid
So
of
I
what
had all the Paul McCartney and Wing albums or greatest hits, things of that nature. I was always a big Beatle fan, so I always listened to the Beatles.
Well, take it up, baby, now. Take it up, baby. Twist and shout. Twist and shout.
Aerosmith.
You look like a lady. You look like a lady. You look like a lady. You look like a lady.
Definitely Led Zeppelin. My favorite, all-time favorite band. AC/DC, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, those types of bands. Well, for one, it was played in the background of my life 24/7 from my uncles, my aunts.
I'm not sure why I enjoyed it. It just was music that I liked. Looking back, there's some of the stuff that I don't really care for now, but back then I did. I think that's the beauty of music. Your taste can change, and you can, either something that you didn't like, all of a sudden you do like, or something that maybe you did that you did like, now you don't. That it's always changing, and there's always new things on the horizon for you.
Yeah, you still can't forget about your roots.
Okay, two bands that I listen to the most right now would probably be Rush and Foo Fighters.
I didn't really get into music heavily like I am now until I heard Green Day for the first time. It was around the 7th grade, I think, and I was just, I always listened to classic rock or anything rock in general for that matter up until, the 7th grade, and then it got to the point where I just wanted something more driving, something that was faster. And when I heard Green Day for the first time, it completely blew my mind.
When I was growing up, Rush was around, but they weren't one of my favorite bands. I really didn't give them a good opportunity or a good listen to hear all their music. As I've gotten older, and as their music has gotten older, it has become some of the stuff that I really, really enjoy listening to. Foo Fighters are more of a newer band, obviously. They came out right after Nirvana, after Kurt Cobain committed suicide and Dave Grohl went on his own.
I'm seeing the pain, seeing the pleasure. Nobody but you, body but
Most of the newer bands I just don't really like. I don't think musically they're very talented. I don't think they write very good songs.
Being a drummer / musician, being that person that I am, I can definitely respect other genres of music very easily. I can't get into mainstream music. I absolutely can't. It all sounds the same. It all reminds me of the same thing.
I think that was the beauty of music that I listened to when I was growing up, and probably music that my parents were listening to in the 60s and stuff. Music had meaning. It was about current events. It was about things that were changing in their lives.
I can read you like a magazine. Ain't it funny? Rumors fly, and I know you heard about me.
There's no song that really pulls itself away from one another. They all just kind of sound the same in my opinion.
Today's music, I don't get that. It's more kind of a bubblegum feel.
Popular music has evolved greatly since the 1950s, from the primitive rock and roll style to rap, rock, metal, electronica, techno, and many others. And it will only keep on changing.
Everybody